All right, we're back here in the locker room, 10:19 on a sunny Saturday. Hey, Bob, there's a lot of great college football games today, man.
I'm looking for the Georgia LSU.
You watched the Utah game last night? Anybody?
I did.
You took my daughter to the parade.
I saw the last quarter.
You took Doopy Doo to the parade.
Yeah, it was a good little parade in Ocean City.
Right. All right. And but I watched the second half of the Utah game. It was a pretty exciting
It was an entertaining game.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game. I wanted Oregon to win.
Did you?
Yeah.
I wanted the Utes.
Did you? You want the Utes?
Because then that's a feel-good story, right?
Right.
They don't. They were they're ranked number 5 at the time, right?
Right.
And they're going in, and I wanted the Utes.
Still won't get into the playoffs.
So what? It's a feel-good story,
right?
All
right. So a lot of games today. Of course, at 1:00 here on 97.3 ESPN, we have the Flyers against the Ottawa Senators, and then we have the high school football game later on today on 97.3 ESPN. Josh, what game are we covering today?
So today at 4:00 we got Shawnee versus Hamilton. Then tomorrow we have the doubleheader: Hillside versus Cedar Creek, followed by Holy Spirit and St. Joe.
It's the championships.
Well, how about that? We never went this deep in. I mean,
we went to December.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think back when we played.
Well, they didn't have it.
I know that's what I'm saying. Pretty cool.
but they eliminated because of this. They eliminated.
So we went to the Group 3 championship, and we
lost.
We were like 2 weeks late getting into basketball camp.
Right, that's right.
Because that's how. But now, I mean, gee whiz, these guys.
But they eliminated Thanksgiving games because of this.
Not all.
Not all, but they're going to.
They're slowly going to go.
They're slowly going to go away. It's a shame.
But think about it this way: the rest of the country does this.
Right.
If you go to like the Florida states, like, they don't know what Thanksgiving Day football is. They think it's nuts that we don't have a state champion.
That is true.
I just think I'm a traditionalist, and I'm going to miss that game, that Thanksgiving Day game.
Right.
I think, look, my solution is take all the Thanksgiving Day rivalries and put them on the weekend before Labor Day. Turn the 0 week, which is the week with no high school football or limited games, make that the rivalry weekend for all the high school games. Every team start their season with their rival.
You know what, though? Some of the conferences did away with, like Collingswood. They were in the Colonial Conference. They broke that thing up.
It's all the West Jersey, Bob.
Right.
We used to play.
There's West Jersey Conference and all these divisions within the.
It's a super conference.
It's a super.
Yeah, but Haddon Heights played Haddonfield. They
did. Yeah,
they got the.
Eventually, that's going to
go. That game's been going on for years, right there.
Millville Violence been around, I think, for what? 130 years?
Yes.
All right, let's you guys, let's talk a little Phillies baseball because they're making a lot of noise. And last year they had an opportunity to get Corbin as a free agent, who had a great year with the Nationals. They went on to win in the World Series this year. They could have. The last year, if they would have gone out and gotten a pitcher, they might not have had the 81 and 81. They broke 500 this year. They underachieved. They had some injuries, but remember all the hype, Bob, going into the Phillies season last year.
Yeah, sure.
And now all of a sudden, so they step up and they make. Look, I didn't say I didn't like the. Obviously, it's an improvement. Zach Wheeler's an improvement.
Is he signed?
I'm just saying he's. Bob, they agreed to terms.
Is he signed yet?
It's not official.
I'm just wondering. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't heard.
But they agreed to terms with a 5-year, $118 million contract. The concern I have is he just had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago. Last year he had a dead soul. That's a lot of money and a lot of years for a guy that's I'm not going to say damaged, but
half the league has had Tommy John.
I know.
surgery now.
Yeah, but you know what though?
The guy throws 96 miles an hour.
Whatever happened to doing well before you get paid? Like look with Nola. He had to do. You know what I mean? They didn't give him the money before he you know what I mean? He had a great season, and then they paid him. Well, whatever happened to that concept?
So Wheeler is the second best starter behind Jacob deGrom. He went 5.
What about 4?
Listen. He went 5-2 with a 2.83 ERA in the final 12 starts of the season. So the second half of his season last year was great. After the All-Star game, he was phenomenal.
So maybe he's making a good comeback, right? Maybe he's rehabilitated. He's
always been a better second half pitcher.
And so prior,
I'm coming off the injury. I'm saying,
but he got smoked. He got smoked by the Phillies on July 7th at Citi Field. And before the All-Star break, his ERA was 4.69.
Right.
So he had, he like Josh just said,
he's a second half
right.
Pitcher,
He experienced a dead arm at the end of the year.
This year.
Yeah, last year.
Strasburg. What's your point?
So my point is, for
Hold on,
5
wait.
years, $118 million, I think, once again, this team is taking it. You got to take a
You're
chance.
telling me Strasburg had a dead arm at the end of this year?
Yes.
At the end of this year, the end of last year.
Last
Oh,
year.
last year, because the guy was lights out this year.
Strasburg has had way more arm injuries than Wheeler has.
They brought him up right, the Nationals, I think, Strasburg.
And how about the
I mean,
Braves? How
They
about the Braves?
mishandled Strasburg. in
You
my
think
opinion.
they did?
Well, no, the whole thing.
Look, they got the max out of him this year,
Remember
though.
a few years ago they wouldn't pitch him in the postseason?
Yeah, but
because they
he-
were trying to save
they-
him.
yeah, I know,
And then
I know.
Immediately
Hey.
next year he got injured again.
And guess what? They did save him this year. I mean, at the end of the year, he played pretty well.
I
He
think.
pitched well.
Well, you pitch well when you know you got to get a contract out of it.
Well, but at least you pitch well first before you get paid, right?
Not
That's
anymore. That's what my point is. Not anymore. Now you get guys are getting these huge contracts
I think that's
without
wrong.
really being.
That's wrong.
But here's the problem.
the way baseball's going.
If Wheeler was the third best pitcher on the market, which most people think
No,
he is.
third best. Oh, on the market.
On
He
the
was the
market.
third best pitcher on the Mets. You had Syndergaard and DeGrom.
Time out. Okay, back to my question. If he's the third best pitcher on the market and you got him, what's really the complaint?
You're right.
Well,
That's our job.
No,
to
but
complain
his
here a little bit.
his point, he's the third best on the Mets.
He was
Not
the third best on the Mets.
I mean,
and he's the third best free agent on the market.
That tells me that there's not many. That's
Well,
not much
Bob,
talent on the
wait a
market.
minute, Bob. He also they had DeGrom and Syndergaard.
Well, yeah, they were.
I mean,
lights out.
so let's
And
face it,
Stroman.
Mets. Right.
Thor.
They had 4. How did the Mets not win last year?
They're the Mets.
Where's my buddy Jeff Dallin? The stinking Mets.
rotten Mets.
The stinking rotten Mets. I want to get that guy on here. Where's Jeff? Give us a call, Jeff, because I know you're listening, and you can sing your Mets song.
Mr.
Stinking Met. And, the Mets, and we call the stinking Mets. Guess what? The stinking Mets went 86 and 76. They finished ahead of the Phillies last year, Bob.
That's a sin.
Going into the last 10, they finished strong. I think they were like one of the best teams after the All-Star break.
All right, so we hired Joe Girardi. I like that. I like that move. You like that move?
Yeah, I do like that.
I like that.
I like that
He's
move a
got
lot.
strong, right?
So let's look at some real quick because we're gonna be talking to Tommy Green. We'll get his opinion. Tommy Green, obviously a great pitcher for the
Girardi's like he's a little bit of an old school. You know what I mean? He's like a cutback with a little bit modern-esque. You know,
Throwback.
Throwback.
Yeah, the throwback.
What did you say? Cutback.
Cutback, throwback, whatever. You know. So and then
I just want to. Here's what Wheeler has done against teams in the National League East. All right, he pitched 4 games against the Braves. He went 1-2, and his ERA was 6.26. Now you know the Braves have an explosive offense.
Right.
Obviously, we know that. But he walked 11, struck out 17 Braves. Against the Marlins, he played 3 games, pitched in 3 games. He was 2-1. He gave up 2 home runs. He 196 ERA. So the Marlins are the worst team in the East. Against the Phillies, he was 1-2 with a 3.19 ERA, and against the Nationals, he was 1-2. So if you look at his body of work in the National League East, because they're the teams we have to beat.
Right.
He didn't do too well.
good.
The only team that he did well against the Phillies, and now he's on our team,
And they're paying him. It's the
So here's
cart
the-
before the horse, isn't it?
right, Bob?
The
I mean, you
cart
give this
before the
guy,
horse.
5 years, $118 million. But guess what, Bob? The Phillies had no choice because that's what the market bears.
Yeah. I mean, what's Arrieta? Well,
He's going to be your third. He'll be your third.
Is he healthy, Josh?
Yeah, he's
I mean,
getting healthy.
he didn't have surgery.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he
He
did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
Okay.
had surgery.
All right.
Who knows how healthy or unhealthy?
But I think. Listen, I'm an optimist too. I mean, I just feel I'm just hoping because I'm a Phillies fan that this all works out. And if it does work out, Bob, I like it. Nola, Wheeler, and Arrieta. If
a big if,
Bob, that's a big if. But
a
hey,
big if.
if it comes to fruition, that's a threat. Those 3 guys right there are good. I mean, Arrieta's won a World Series.
Yeah.
All right. First hour of the locker room is sponsored by Barb Charlie
52.
52. Hey, Bob, we stole a pitcher from the Mets. And now let's hear Mr. Met himself cry. Come on into the locker room, Jeff Bowe. Let me hear you sing the song now.
You must be hating it.
I know. That was
hold on. You ready for this? There's only one place, and that's first, Josh.
That's right,
Everybody else is losers. You know what I mean, Jeff? We're all losers. If you don't finish in first place, it don't matter where you fall in. You're a loser.
Well, you and I go back and forth. With each series, and I got to tell you, you've been dominating. I've been. I owe him a lunch. Do I still owe you a lunch? No. We're even. So, Jeff, you and I started getting a little bit of a Twitter war. My point is, for the money and the length of the contract, with his track record of injury,
it's a big matzo ball out there.
That's all I was saying. That's the point I was making.
You said you weren't happy.
I said I wasn't. So, Jeff, that's not what I said. I said I'm not super excited is what I said. I didn't say I wasn't happy. I said I'm not excited.
The Mets would be super excited to keep him.
Yeah.
The Mets stink.
Well, what do they got? Money? Why'd they get rid of you? They have money problems? They can't keep them?
Everyone is disappointed.
That's right.
Everyone sucks if you don't make the playoffs.
Well, then why did the Mets get rid of him, Jeff? Why couldn't they keep him? You're telling me the Mets couldn't come up with $118 million over 5 years?
Yeah, one word for it. Will Pond.
They're still in control.
Yeah.
Right now are they own the Mets, and in 5 years we get rid of them because
Yep.
they're willing to sell now.
Buyout.
In the next 5 years, they'll be keeping up.
So it's the ownership. The ownership you blame for the inability for the Mets to sign and keep people.
The ownership's an abomination.
I know nothing about the ownership up there.
Yeah, because they're obscure.
They do. I think for them, the Wilpons, it's just they're in there for them to make money.
And baseball teams are making money regardless of where you land in the standings. I mean, they all make money.
They do what they can just to get people in seats. But they could do so much more. Sign better people. During the it comes up to the towards the end of the year before the deadline, and to make moves, and they don't. And it's just so disappointing that all of a sudden they didn't do anything.
All right, Jeff, we got about a minute left. Do you want to sing your Mets song? You want to sing your Mets song, Jeff? Nah, I wouldn't if I were you either. Is he still on? Jeff, you there?
Phone's breaking up.
I guess.
Anyway, but you know what? I told him this story when I was at the Ocean City game. I saw Tim Kelly, the writer.
Yeah.
And Jeff was there. We were talking, and he told him the story about what Mogo used to call us.
Toilet
He used to
paper?
call us toilet and toilet paper.
All right, first hour is in the books. We have Freddie Mitchell coming up.
Fred X.
All right, we'll talk a little Eagles. We'll talk some Sixers. In the third hour, talk the Flyers. Flyers hockey, Sean Couturier, Zach Travis Konechny we talked to. First hour. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Bob, you know what today is?
Today is Pearl Harbor Day.
December 7th, 1941. A date which will live in infamy. You remember that, Tim? I got my ex-student here, one of my students in my class.
Was that a test question?
It was. Did you learn that? You remember that, right, Tim?
Yeah.
He was in my history class.
Yeah.
And Dad was there. Dad was in
he
Pearl
got
Harbor.
there 2 days
after it was bombed.
Come steaming in on a carrier, right?
Our father is buried at Arlington National Cemetery in
He
Washington.
used to tell us all about that.
I remember that.
Everything was still smoking when they came in. They thought the Japanese.
The water was burning in the harbor.
Yeah, and he said they were thinking the Japanese were going to invade, right?
Remember, Dad also said that he said they stuck him in a pillbox with the Soup Bowl helmet.
Yeah, remember that?
And he said with a single shot rifle, they were going to stop anybody. But the Japs, they miscalculated. All they had to do was send. My dad said all they had to do was send a small landing force.
They didn't even bomb the fuel depot. They didn't touch that. He said if they would have touched that, they got that, it would have really messed things up even worse.
December 7th. All right, so Bob, the Eagles, man, you know what they won't do? They won't run the ball. I got a couple things for you, Bob.
Okay, and then I got to share a couple things that I'm reading, and this wraps it all.
You know,
up in
the Eagles are 0-4 when Wentz throws the ball 40 times or more.
So run the ball.
You would think, right? Wentz threw the ball 46 times on Sunday in a loss to the Dolphins. In the last 4 games, he's thrown the ball 170 times.
You got to matriculate the ball down the field, right?
The Eagles had a 45.1 run play percentage in the first 9 games of the season, including 52 and a 52% in back-to-back wins in Week 8 and Week 9 against Buffalo and Chicago. Of course, Jordan Howard got hurt, but they got away from it. Bob, my point to you and my question to you is, if you have something that works, why would you go away from it?
I don't know.
That's good, Mr. Han.
Right? I mean, why would you get away from something that works? I mean, that's NFC football. NFC's football.
Why is Peterson so stubborn?
Tell you what, he better be careful. He better get this.
He's 2 years removed.
But you know what? It's what made me feel like it's starting to make this feel like the Super Bowl was a fluke, and I hate feeling that way. You know what I mean? Remember last year? Remember last year?
They got hot at the right time.
No, remember last year?
Well, look at his headline right here.
I see it.
All right.
Yeah.
Back page of the Daily News. He's losing his grip.
Well, guess what? It just seems last year. Remember you said, after the Super Bowl we had that hangover. Nobody really cared about what happened.
Right.
Well, now we ease into this year.
Right.
And no one ever thought we'd be this bad.
But you know why, Bob? It's just the way we're losing games. We're losing games because they're being stubborn. He's being basically stubborn. Gross says, what makes you think we're getting away from the run? Hello, are you watching the games? And if I were the Eagles, after this year, I'm getting rid of Groh because I think he stinks.
Right.
If he's obviously it's not him. It's a collaboration between him and Peterson calling the plays.
Well, you know what? In the beginning,
but you're not going to fire Peterson because he won the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Well, not now. You're not. Not now. You're not. But I got to tell you what, this season has been a debacle. I don't care what happens. I don't care if they make the playoffs.
And my point,
they're not going anywhere if they make the playoffs.
My point that because and I stated this on the Tony Bruno show in Glassboro at the Landmark that. The expectations were so high. Remember going into the Philly season last year, how the expectations were so high, and then you get let down.
And then
excuse me.
On paper, we're great.
And then you're told how great the Sixers are. All these beat writers, reporters down there telling us how great everybody is, and then we're not seeing it. And the same thing with the Eagles. Even Zach Ertz was quoted as saying, this team on paper is better than the 2017 Super Bowl championship team. And even John McMullen agreed that they all made mistakes. They're down there watching these guys. I don't know what they're looking at, but everybody either reads it online, the information that we're given online, we're reading, listening to the people that cover these teams, and we're being told how great they are. And we're 5-7 the week after Thanksgiving.
Well, you know what was telltale? And you and I, in the beginning of the year, when we back in training camp, and we were mad at what was going on with this preseason games, how these guys.
Oh, that's the way it is. It's the way the league's going.
And you know who's ripping them? Seth Joyner.
And I love Seth Joyner.
I do too. I think he's right on. I think he's
timeout.
Oh, here we go.
I'm the reasonable one of you.
You're gonna be objective, right?
Yeah, my objective thing is the whole league is doing it.
I don't care what the league's doing.
But if the rest of the league can be a winning team and the Eagles can't, then it's not that.
Guess what? If you look at it,
if you say the rest of the league's doing it, then Russell Wilson played in the preseason. He played like 3 games.
So did Tom Brady.
Get out of here, man. What do you mean the rest of the league's doing it?
Tom Brady played in the preseason. Josh, how about this? If you look at the top 5,
season is negligible. The year the Lions went winless in the regular season, they went undefeated in the preseason. You can't point to just the preseason. But at the end of the day, if you don't execute on Sunday, you keep committing penalties.
But if the player,
it doesn't matter what happened in August.
This is
December. It's November.
Yeah, but this is all part of the
process,
maturation
process.
You got to get your legs.
About that. I wanted you to tell me why a player on Sunday commits a dumb penalty, and that's somebody's fault in August.
Because
When
maybe
they commit a dumb turnover.
because during
that's
the
not
It's
fault.
all building blocks.
But let me-
It's the whole. It's
But you
building
had
blocks.
months to build on that.
Not
You've
if
had
the
months to get it
practices are
right.
so soft because of the collective bargaining agreement doesn't allow these teams to
So
hit.
why does the rest of the league have soft practices and they're not as
Well,
bad?
not all. Bobby just made a point. Tom Brady played in the preseason. Russell Wilson played. There was.
Season's done.
I know.
Well, it
but
means
the-
something, though, man. It has to. It has to mean
So
something.
you're blaming the current 3-game
No,
losing streak
I don't
on the
think he is.
preseason.
I don't
I'm saying
think.
it's you know what? It starts in the beginning, right? It's a
Right.
building block, Josh.
Right, like
it's
when you build a
it's like-
house.
It's like everything trickles, everything flows downhill, right? It's the same thing.
Or no, but when you're building a house, you build from the foundation up.
So
And
how
if-
were they able to beat the Packers on Thursday Night Football then?
They got lucky. They're just like this. Like to me, right now, this Super Bowl win was a fluke.
Let me ask you a question, Josh. Then, what team are the Eagles? Are the Eagles the 5-17 that we have right now, or are they the team that beat the Packers? Right now.
I see it's a combination of both.
Well,
Because here's the problem: they're
Look,
actually healthier
my-
now
all right, and
than
I
they
have
were in
to-
the Packers game.
And I happen to agree with my brother, and I agree with Seth Joyner. And I think, Bob, what he's referring to is the league / the team is getting soft.
What's that
They
mean?
don't run the ball. They don't hit during the week. They don't put the pads on. I mean, he had to put the pads on the team to send a message.
Here's what
Come on, man.
Ready for this says right. The collective bargaining agreement restricts the number of padded practices
To 14.
during the season. My thing is, first of all,
a football team.
that restricts what the coach can do. If he wants to put you in pads, he puts you in pads. It's part of coaching. That's when
So
you
they're-
coach. It's your personality. It's what you believe works. Okay. If you can't coach a team because of set
then,
of
Bob,
rules
let
are in
me-
a book.
So then, Bob, let me ask you this question then. Is it Doug Peterson's fault, or is it just that he's playing with the hand that's dealt? That
I
he's
don't know how
dealt?
many padded practices they've had this year. I don't know. Are they up to the limit? I don't know where they
Because
are.
why are we reading an article that says a headline in the back of the Daily News, losing his grip with a question mark? Are these
How many
practices
padded
so
practices
soft
did
that
they had this year, Josh? I mean, can they have
we
5
all asked
more,
John
6
McMullen on that on Monday night. I'll ask John.
I mean, I just don't get it, man. You know, you're a coach. When you coach, just like Brett Brown, and we'll get into the Sixers, but this is all goes into sport, okay? You got a guy that's turning the ball over, okay? You got to get in his face. I mean,
But not only-
that's a coaching thing right
I
there.
remember in college when we played football, if you did something wrong, you worked on it. Like if you know how you run through the pads, run through like hold the drill that made you hold on to the ball, where everybody slaps at it, stuff like
You
that.
go over what you need to improve. It's coaching. Okay, if you don't challenge your player, they're going to continue to make the same mistakes. I'm sorry.
And here's another thing too, which was alluded to. There's been grumblings in that players have missed meetings. They've been late for meetings. Heck, Nigel Bradham at the beginning of the year missed the whole game. He missed a preseason game. Didn't even show up.
Right.
So is it a lack of
He's
coaching?
losing his grip.
Maybe he is losing his grip.
All
Now, ready for this? I was in the stands for that game, man.
Right.
I will never forget the crowd. The noise level was unbelievable. So let's get him in here. Let's walk him into the locker room. Freddie Mitchell. What's up, Freddie? Freddie, I know you won't forget it, but I won't forget. I was sitting in section 119, right on the 40-yard line, on the visitor's side. I could see right down the line, it was right there, and I knew.
Yeah, it was freezing cold that
And look,
night.
coming from Southern California, man, did you like playing in the cold? Yeah, that's right. Freddie, I'm glad you took a little time to talk to us today. Bobby and I were really, we're fans. Our show's predicated on a viewpoint from a fan's perspective. And to us, to my brother Bobby and I, we think that the game has gotten softer. The players are softer. I mean, there's no preseason anymore.
You can only put the pads on. You can only hit so much during the season.
I mean, it wasn't too long ago. You played in 2001 to 2005. I mean, the game has changed so much even since you played. Yeah, so with that. Huh?
Josh.
You listen to Seth Joyner on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Isn't he great? Yeah, I got to tell you, Fred. I love Seth Joyner. I agree with everything he says.
He's old school. That's part of it.
man.
You know, he's an old school.
No nonsense, and he keeps it real. That's what I like about him.
Hey, Fred, back at. Let him talk. Yeah.
We're talking with Freddie Mitchell, Fred X, former Eagle. We'll never forget that 4th and 26. Fred, when you guys talk to us a little bit about how Big Red conducted practice. I mean, let's face it, Doug Peterson is a disciple of Big Red,
right?
Andy Reid. But if you guys were like fumbling the ball or not catching the ball, I'm sure you guys would focus on that at practice, right?
Wow. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not. No, he's not.
You know, Freddie, I got to tell you, man, like in the beginning of the season, you open up the daily news, you go online, you read a couple articles, or you watch the TV, and you're seeing Zach Ertz telling everybody that this team was better than, on paper, this team's better than the 2017 Super Bowl team, and this team is this, and this team is that. We're 5-7 a week after Thanksgiving, man. And the way we're losing these games, because it appears to me that Doug Peterson is stubborn. He won't run the ball. If you don't have somebody to catch the ball, then you run it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was trying to sell something to us, right? Yeah. Hey, Fred, so you're not afraid of speaking your mind and saying what's on your mind. And today you get reporters go into the locker room and you get the standard, what you just alluded to. You get the standard cookie cutter stuff that I guess the team, you got to watch what you say. What's the reporter's job if you're not going to get anything? Who cares? What are you even in there for? You gotta have somebody who wants to say something.
Where's he live?
But they're not using that leverage.
You know what? Just admit to yourself. We got our butts kicked. You know what I mean?
I didn't show up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that because the secondary looked horrible. It looked like high school players. Scandrick.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Ask him about why the receivers keep dropping balls.
You know why? Because we did.
Yeah.
So Fred, let me ask you this question then, Fred. Why are the Eagles receivers dropping the ball so much? What's so hard? The receivers, they grew up catching the ball. Why are they dropping the ball?
Alshon.
All right, if we're talking with Freddie Mitchell, former Eagle, 4th and 26, Fred, I gotta bring it up. We gotta talk about your boy. He gets inducted into the Philly Sports Hall of Fame, Sports Writers Hall of Fame. Your boy Donovan, and then he's complaining it's not the real Hall of Fame. I mean, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, let's face it, man. You did.
No.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roethlisberger.
But one thing, he had decent statistics. But the thing is, if you looked at Donovan McNabb play, you guys were always constantly catching the ball behind you, below you, over. You know what I mean? You had to make
never in stride.
never in stride with you guys. And I'm just thinking, what your statistics.
Right. Right, I hear you, man. Right.
Hey, Freddie. So let me ask you, what do you got going forward for the Eagles now? Looking for the next couple games. What do
Think they can beat the Giants on Monday night?
Come on.
I'm a little worried, actually. All right, Fred. Listen, man, you got us all pumped up. I love it when you come on.
He gets fired up.
I get fired up. You get me fired up. But you know what? That's great conversation. I appreciate it. And let's do it again. All right, Freddie Mitchell. You can follow Freddie Mitchell on Twitter at FMitchell84, at FMitchell84. Follow him on Twitter. Dig it.
Come on.
All right, Freddie Mitchell, man. Thanks. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll do it again. Freddie Mitchell, man. He's colorful. He's opinionated. He's Freddie Mitchell. They're still around. The Eagles are still around at 5.
The world is running down.
The Royals running down. We're going to make the best of what's still around, Bebop. The Eagles are 5-7, but are still around.
Let me tell you something. Actually, to be honest with you, I through all this whole debacle and whatnot, Carson Wentz is uncharacteristically inaccurate this year. I don't know what's going on. The penalties at the yin yang, the defensive backs. But you know what though? There's a chance, and this thought came over me last night. I think the Eagles could turn this thing around. I really do.
Turn it around.
I think they could. Bill.
We are who they thought we were.
Playoffs. We're talking playoffs.
I want to remind people. Bob, Freddie Mitchell just texted me. He goes, "You love the fire or what?" And I do. And that's Bob. That's why you got Freddie Mitchell on. He gives you. He tells you, he keeps it real and gives you passion.
So you're not. There's not one little optimistic bone in your body right now.
No, I think. Guess what, Bob? The Cowboys. We were going to get to this. The Cowboys are so bad and they're so dysfunctional right now that we can back into an NFC East champ. That's the only way you're going to get to the playoffs. But the Seattle Seahawks won the division at 7-9 one year, and then they went on to beat the Saints. Bob, can I finish my thought? Can I finish my thought?
You just finished your thought.
They went 7-9 one year.
That.
And they beat 11-5 Saints team.
I understand it. I was listening to on the way into the show. I was listening to Josh today. You had some guy on there you were interviewing that said that the Dallas Cowboys were probably going to win a division because they got a better talented team. Who was that guy? I mean, I totally.
Well, he's not wrong. The Cowboys do have more talent in their team, but they're just poorly coached.
You think the Cowboys? Who's more?
Okay. Let's go position by position.
Well, let's go. We have a better offensive line than they do.
Who has the better running back?
They do.
Who's the better quarterback?
We do.
We do.
Okay, so you're 1-1.
Okay.
Offensive line is
a push. That's a push.
It's a push. Okay.
So we're 1-1. Still
okay.
Who has the better wide receivers?
I'm gonna give the edge. I'm gonna give the edge to the Cowboys.
It's a slight edge.
It's a slight
they got
edge.
better names, but they really haven't done anything that great this year.
Right.
So to me, that's negligible
Cowboys
too.
are 2-1.
That's negligible too.
Cowboys are 2, Eagles 1.
Okay.
Who has a better D line?
We do.
Okay, now we're 2-2. Who has better linebackers?
They do.
It's a push.
They do.
No, they do. Absolutely.
They do.
Absolutely.
Van Der Esch, but he's
All
not
right.
playing. Van Der Esch is hurt, and Lee. I mean,
he's
but you got to give it. You got to give it that to Cowboys.
Who has the better secondary?
They do.
They do.
They do.
That's 4-2.
We got a better kicking game.
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
we
got a better kicking game.
But we
have
don't
a
have better.
better
I don't think we
field goal
overall. I don't
What's
think
that?
we have.
4-4 now.
I don't think we have special.
4-3.
Yeah, but the special teams. I listen.
So
Want to remind people to follow Freddie Mitchell on Twitter at FMitchell84 and Instagram at FMitchell84. Bob, the Cowboys are dysfunctional, and
Who's got a better coach, Josh?
That's a good one.
That doesn't do with the talent of the field.
No, but that's all part of it. He's on the field.
No, let's say that who has the better coaching staff?
Well, I want to start at the head coach first, so we even it up. We got to give it to Peterson because Garrett's he's a disgrace. So he shouldn't even be there. So now we're 4-4. Look at him shaking
You just want to find a point to make your side.
Well,
right.
I just didn't agree with him, and that's why they play the games.
Doesn't make it right. Poor Billy's trying to set up this darn audio.
I know. Well, I'm trying to find. I'm also trying to find my my quote.
Look at the newspaper. Look at him.
Troy Aikman came out and ripped Jerry Jones.
Oh, he's been doing that.
Yeah, he said, he's the problem. They only won 3 playoff games in the last 25 years, the Cowboys. Wow. But, we have Bill Beverly sits here with me on Sundays now, who's a big Cowboys fan. And I thought about it. I must be a good guy to let a Cowboy fan sit here. But Bill gives, he brings it. Jerry Jones, it's true. They only won 3 playoff games in 25 years. It starts at the top. These organizations it starts from the top and it trickles down, like you said, like you alluded to. Well, Jerry Jones, Bob, Garrett's a puppet of Jerry Jones.
Sure.
Jerry Jones controls that whole thing. So after the loss on Thanksgiving, by the way, or not Thanksgiving, after the loss to the Bears the other night, and I just take, but don't you? I loved it. I can't. There's not another team in the league that I enjoy watch losing more than the Cowboys.
I know. It's perfect.
It's fun, isn't it?
I raced home. I got home from Seattle. They put the TV on, and I was loving it, man.
It's to me, when I'm sitting there and I see a Dallas Cowboys get beat like that, it's almost as satisfying as seeing the Eagles win.
So what do you got?
Ready for this?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones was being interviewed the other day for the radio station in Dallas, and listen to this.
Just to set this up.
Fireworks.
So after every Cowboys game,
Jerry
Jones has a segment on 105 through the Fan in Dallas. And literally, this is not edited. This is directly from the beginning. Right? So there's no edits, no modifications or anything.
You're going to enjoy this. That was funny, and he needs to take all the anger because he's the one pulling the strings.
He's trying to deflect. He doesn't want to answer. The guy's basically trying to get answers from him. What's the problem?
He wants to answer certain questions.
Jerry doesn't want to answer the truth.
Right. Exactly. He doesn't want to answer the hard questions.
Not the hard question. The truth is, and it's always been this: it's Jerry's team, it's Jerry's coaching staff, it's Jerry's players, it's Jerry's organization. Okay, Jerry groomed Jason Garrett to be the head coach. He had wanted Jason Garrett to be the head coach for years. He got his wish, and now he's realizing that unless the person's name is Jimmy Johnson or Bill Parcells, he will never have success. He needs an institutionalized football man and not a puppet. But he doesn't want to admit that.
But nobody worth their salt as a coach is going to go do that. Be subject to Jerry Jones's.
Well, it depends on who the person is.
Well, you need a personality the ex-Giants coach, Bill Parcells. They need they need a Bill Parcells or something like that.
Somebody who has the pedigree to walk in the room and say.
And that would be like a Bill Parcells-esque kind of guy, somebody like that.
But you also need someone who's willing to work with Jerry.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the biggest point. Okay. Willing to work with him because
there is one guy who says he would take this job.
Uh-oh. Breaking news.
Okay? A couple months ago, in an interview on Fox Sports, Urban Meyer explicitly said that he would be interested in the job if it was open.
He said yes?
He would be interested.
He would be interested. So
He said it's one of those jobs that you always have to consider if offered it.
all right, so
Holy smokes.
let me ask you this question, Bob. The Cowboys are 6-7.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles are 5-7. They win against the Giants.
Let's not
This is
jump
going to
the
come
gun.
down. That's right. Let's not jump the
Eli scares me.
because last week the Eagles were 10.9-point favorites against the Dolphins, a 2-9 team. They couldn't beat. Gave up 37 points to a team that couldn't even score 15.
And a seasoned veteran quarterback beat us down. But now we face an Eli Manning who has the ability.
Yeah, but he stinks. He's
Nah,
always.
it doesn't matter.
But,
Bill.
he hasn't.
Fitzpatrick
But
stinks.
you
Come
realize the Giants they're 1 we beat their Giants are 1-9 against us the last 10 games. He cannot. He hasn't beat us in like 6 games. He's 0-7 or something.
Really quick.
He's a pro though. He was an MVP,
stinks.
man. Come on.
Really quick. Hunter dismissed this point I brought up. I want to ask you guys. Doesn't mean you're going to agree or disagree with them. I'm just curious. Isn't it a little bit convenient that Brian Flores, the head coach of the Dolphins, 2 of his team's 3 wins this year are both against the coaches who he lost Super Bowl to?
It's just a coincidence.
Really?
Yeah, it's a coincidence.
You don't think there's any maybe insight that he had on Frank Reich and Doug Peterson from facing them before?
Nah, because
possible. It's
the
possible.
Dolphins did play they played their best game ever for this
Dolphins
year.
defense played excellent
They
against the Colts.
played their championship game against the Eagles. They were
But
home.
before the Eagles, they played the Colts on the road and shut down the offense.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't know how much.
Can Eagles win a division? And if they do, what do you think?
I think we have a better shot me personally. I think we have a better shot at it than the Cowboys.
Because they got the Rams
Which
coming
team
up.
is more dysfunctional, Eagles or Cowboys?
Cowboys. You
Cowboys.
see, they're all yelling at each
Cowboys.
other. You ever see that at the sidelines? They're all yelling at each other.
Wasn't Bennett going nuts? You could hear him through this.
You saw Witten. Witten was yelling at somebody. Dak Prescott was. They're all yelling at each other.
I think they're dysfunctional. I think the Eagles, obviously, have a little bit more chemistry going on right now.
I think we pull it out. To be honest with you, I think we pull it out. We're going to get to the playoffs. What happens in the playoffs was obviously totally.
Just get there.
But
I
let me
want to
just
get
remind
there.
You really quick. You mentioned the Seattle Seahawks. Also, the Carolina Panthers a few years ago.
Yeah, they
went
did it too.
7-8-1.
Yeah.
Won the division. What do both those teams have in common? Within 2 years after those losing records, they both reached Super Bowl.
Right.
I like it. I
And
like
guess
it.
what, man? Looks like the quarterback in Carolina.
He's out.
He's done, man.
What do you mean?
They fired the head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
fired
They're
him.
firing.
So you're saying Cam Newton's
Yeah,
done?
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know.
I mean, done. I mean, I think he's not. I don't think he's going to play. I mean, I think it'll be a little while before he plays again. He's backed
He'll
up pretty
be playing
good.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be. Yeah, he's not going to stay in Carolina. He's done. All right.
I know we're moving up. We didn't even just talk much Sixers.
Well, Bob, it's
I
a
know.
passionate show, man.
All right,
We
but I
just
just
take-
want to
We got a
say.
whole another hour
Well, I
coming
gotta
up.
read.
You do.
I'm off. Bobby's raising kids. All right, second hour of the locker room. Good to have you in here. First time in a little while. It was fiery. We had Freddie
fired
Mitchell,
up.
Tommy Green.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk about the Sixers because
we'll get to
I was going to rip Brown, but bottom line is it doesn't matter what sport it is. Like my philosophy is that Brett Brown is afraid. I can only assume, and I don't really know. I'm not in the locker room, but when you have turnovers and mistakes like this, that's a coaching thing, man. It's fundamentals. You're not challenging your players. I'll tell you what.
It doesn't matter what sport. If you
The
continue,
Knicks just got rid of Fizdale, right?
Right.
Now, granted, they had a 4-10, but guess what? Okay,
right.
so
All right, Bobby, thanks for coming in. We got a whole nother hour ahead of us. The Flyers pregame with the locker room with Billy Schweim here on 97.3 ESPN. Stay tuned for that. Sean Couturier interview, Travis Konechny, Scotty McKay on the hook. We'll all bring it to you. Then we got the Senators, Flyers at 1. 97.3 ESPN.